Welcome to the Tesla Economist. Please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Tesla have been known to take a while launching their new cars. With the exception of the Model Y, all their other vehicles have taken quite a long time to design and manufacture, until they start rolling off the production lines, and have had delays on top of that. Okay, sure, it might be argued that they are a lot newer to the auto industry than the others and lack the necessary experience, but it's also because they're taking such care over making sure their vehicles are that good. Remember, every vehicle Tesla makes will sell in the millions, and quite possibly even millions a year. For example, if Tesla did actually launch a $25,000 Model 2, I would say the demand for that car would highly likely be several million each year. Not only that, but Tesla don't have to start again every 5 or so years with new shapes and updated designs for their models. They've spent so long refining these shapes and their production lines, they aren't about to start all over again. Given this, Tesla will take that much more time, effort, research, development, and expense on every model they make compared to absolutely any other manufacturer out there. It's fairly certain now that Tesla will have the highest selling models out of all the competition, as long as they can ramp up their battery production to satisfy the demand. These are extra reasons Teslas are just so much better than every other car out there. Now let's back up here a little and look at it from the competition's perspective. Well, for starters, even if they had a car that was in high demand, they simply couldn't support the demand due to the lack of batteries. Now, all the competition are aware of this, that any car they produce will always be limited because they don't have the batteries to satisfy barely the demand they do have. So why would they bother putting that much investment into making something so special when they know they're likely only going to sell 20 to 50,000 units of this car a year? I mean, it just makes no sense from a viability standpoint. Legacy autos may accumulate enough battery supply to sell, say, 100,000 EVs a year. Therefore, what is the point of spending a fortune on making some amazing car that even if consumers wanted, they simply couldn't supply? And then if by the time they ever reach enough battery supply, the car would then become outdated and have antiquated technology. Okay, let's compare this to Tesla, who are literally building purpose-built facilities revolved around production of a particular model of car. No other manufacturer can do this, with the slight exception of possibly Toyota, but not really. Even Toyota do occasionally update the shape of their models too. For example, Tesla know they plan on still producing their Model Y in Berlin in 10 years' time. The shape will be the same. Sure, there will have been various facelifts by then and added technology, but the same shaped car. Of course, in 10 years' time, the manufacturing process would have been refined dramatically. Tesla are making continual changes on speeding up the production process of their cars. Elon actually said he thinks they can increase it by 10 to 100 times still. That would mean if Berlin had a capacity of 1 million cars a year, it could reach 10 to 100 million cars a year. Okay, 100 million does sound extreme, even by Elon standards, but if it was 10 million, that one factory alone could cater to about 1/10 of the world's car market. But it wouldn't just be production speed that is improving over that time. The actual cost process of the car would also be improved over all the continual updates. Whilst most cars are getting more expensive, Teslas could get cheaper. So as time goes on, it will continually cost less and less for Teslas to make their cars. Particularly if they also continue with their vertical integration. There is now talk of Tesla even getting into the semiconductor business. Of course, it wouldn't just be the production process reducing cost, but their innovation too. Think how much lighter, more powerful and cheaper the batteries will continue to get. The rate at which we see Tesla innovate, even just in a few years from now, they've likely reduced the cost of the Model Y by something ridiculous like $5,000, whilst at the same time adding so many extra features that they've increased the value of the car in the range of tens of thousands of dollars. Some of the things you can't put a price on, such as accident avoidance, the fact the car has a greater chance of avoiding accidents and injuries. Whereas the competition would then struggle even more to come into the market and try and compete with Tesla. Whenever a traditional auto company releases an electric car, then about 5 years or so later, their sales will start to fall. Then, they have to release a new version of the car. They're having to continually start all over again with the latest trends and fads that people want in a car. However, the Tesla, being a digital car, simply stays up to date with all of its over-the-air updates. And sure, the newer Teslas coming off the line do get some hardware updates, like perhaps USB-C adapters and improved headlights, cameras, and these are all fairly modular, where I'm sure anyone with an older model could easily enough replace them eventually. But Tesla has created a timeless design. For example, when BMW launched a new 3 Series, consumers wait with anticipation for a brand new car reveal that looks like the latest fashionable design. A Tesla design is so hallowed that any minor change is a big deal. For example, the excitement created from Tesla's new Model S. I say new Model S, but it's just a facelift. And from the outside, very minor. Most people would likely not notice it. Okay, sure, the interior is where the most noticeable changes have taken place. But if this was an ordinary car manufacturer giving one of their old models a facelift, then it would not be a big deal. It's such a big deal for Tesla that they even held an event for it. And then suddenly they have a 6-month waiting list, although it's the same shaped car. This is just an enormous economies of scale advantage that Tesla has over anyone else. Not just legacy autos, but any other EV startups too. They simply invest billions into R&D before any car launch. If each car makes $10,000 gross profit, then that's $10 billion gross profit for every million units sold. If Tesla plan on selling 20 million units a year, that's $200 billion gross profit a year, of course excluding FSD. It makes the initial investment look small, but also worth doing if they're planning on these kind of numbers. This is also another reason Tesla will eventually just blow up even more. They're still getting all their ducks in a row, designing all these models the right way, perfecting the production lines, the components, the supply chain. Elon says he doesn't believe in moats. In this scenario, he's referring to business moats, which is essentially like a monopolistic barrier to entry. And when Elon talks about them, he's also directly referring to Warren Buffett. Buffett likes investing in companies that have moats, like the logistics and distribution that Coca-Cola has. You can travel anywhere in the world, and any shop you find will sell Coke. Similar for a rail company. Think of all the barriers to entry required to lay down a track for your railway company. On the other hand, perhaps Elon doesn't need a moat, because he's too busy building Fort Knox. There is no moat around Fort Knox. Elon is also a fan of the Austrian economist Joseph Schumpeter, the economist that coined the term creative destruction, which means, for example, rather than trying to compete with rail, create a better version, like boring tunnels or self-driving semi-trucks. And yes, it's possible that in the future, Tesla will not even sell cars to the public anyway, and they'll just continually refine them for their robotaxis. But as of late, you've likely not heard me talk about robotaxis. Look, we've all done the numbers. If robotaxis come into fruition the way we are told, then almost all of you listening right now will be holding millions of dollars in Tesla shares. But no one can really say if and when that will happen. So to be honest, I've kind of stopped including it in any business models. FSD is different and will add massively to the margins, but the cars themselves will likely make more profit than FSD depending on the adoption rate. Some people like to talk about robotaxi potential continually, like it's something that will definitely come soon, but I'd rather focus on what I can really measure now. But sometimes I get in the mood to talk about robotaxis too, but I think of it more like a lottery ticket that may or may not hit. The auto business alone could send the stock price to $3,000 to $5,000 anyway, and energy could do the same again. This all comes down to the batteries, which is where my main focus is on with this company, rather than robotaxis. I mean, it's not like robotaxis are entirely vaporware either. The current FSD is amazing from the videos I've seen. Hey, even the older versions that have rolled out to the public yet are mind-blowing. Anyway, my point is that it's really hard for anyone else to justify as much expense as Tesla when starting a new EV model. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.